integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. So says Bob Marley. Listen, children. So it was lunchtime, in the middle of the day, hot sun. And he carefully took the cover off and he looked inside to see what was available. Very disappointedly, he replaced the cover and he walked away. That moment brought tears to my eyes, my heart tugged, because I had just thrown away the package of the biscuit that I was eating in that garbage bin. The moment you decide that you want to be a visionary leader, the moment you decide you want to be a leader, you must first start to think about who you're leading and where you plan on leading them to. So I ask you, what is your language of leadership? Fellow Toastmasters, it's important that we see the light. When the light comes on, we understand that our language of leadership is really about honesty, compassion, and empathy. Too many times, we spend time putting together nice words, wearing nice suits, fancy ties, well-groomed self, and we fail to see that our impact is in touching the people beside us. Someone was asked, who's the greatest leader the Bahamas have seen so far? They refused to answer. Maybe because the answer is clear. I don't know. But stories goes like this. If he walks into your yard and you're playing marbles, he's shooting them too. If you're eating from the pot, he sits on a stone and he says, may I have some too? The ability to connect and to touch people is the ability to become a visionary leader. So I ask you again, what is your language of leadership? Are you moving around networking, thinking about how you can become your better self? Being a champion of you, your family, and those closest to you, as opposed to thinking, how will I put a dent in this planet? How will I affect individuals wider and farther from me? Against what canvas are you painting your language of leadership? The story is told of an individual who refused to see his nakedness simply because he refused to be vulnerable. The emperor who had no clothes. When you are a visionary leader only in the confines of your mind, those you lead plays you like a fiddle. They know you're not good. They know you're not going anywhere, but they know you offer them a ride to some place they want to get, and so they ride you. Do you, as a leader, follow the admonition of Jesus the Christ when he says, as you have done to the least of these, you have done for me? When he says, I was hungry, you didn't feed me. I was thirsty, and you didn't give me anything to drink. How can you move individuals from one place to the next when you do not have the vision, when you are blind to their physical plight, when you are blind to their opportunities for a better future. A visionary leader must embody the essence of Gandhi, must ooze the spirit of Mother Teresa, and must show the courage of Madiba. A visionary leader must, against all odds, be willing to take the fight by himself, put the world on his shoulder if necessary, and go alone as far as is necessary to deliver his people. What is your language of leadership? Are you out there saying, I am the greatest? Not understanding that greatness is not about the things that you do for self, but the significance you acquire when you give value to others. And what is leadership? Leadership is simply but the adding of value to other persons. Are you running around as a Toastmaster to say, I'm going to become influential because I interact with Toastmaster Major, I interact with Toastmaster JC, I interact with Toastmaster Carlos Palacios, I interact with Toastmaster Newbo? Are you? Or are you seeking influence to inspire? What is it that is your language of leadership? I want to say to you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, that we must always celebrate our Moses moments and celebrate the Moses, plural, around us. But it's important that we embrace the Joshuas. It's important that we embrace the future. It's important that we see that which is in front of us in the way it ought to be done. Otherwise, we do not have the ability to move anyone. What is your language of leadership? I want to admonish you. I want to ask you. I want to beg you. I want to beseech you as young individuals in this country, as young individuals in this region, as young men especially, and young women in this world. I want you to adopt a language of leadership, which at the end of the day, without touting the fact that you're a visionary leader, the essence of that oozes from your every move, from your every speech, from your every thought. Firstly, operate with a profound sense of humility. Your language must be encased in humility. Because only when a man has the ability to be absolutely, unequivocally humble does he have the ability to connect with individuals at the deepest part of their soul. And leadership is about inspiration. And inspiration comes from the Latin term which means in spirit. Your inability to get in the spirit of an individual means you cannot move them. Only through humility can that be achieved. I ask you to make the language of your leadership compassion. And compassion means that you feel for individuals so deeply you have no choice but to move to do that which is going to make them better. Selflessness. A visionary leader is selfless. And the reason for that is simply this. If you are going to move people, you have to be sacrificial. You have to give up your life. You have to give up your comfort. You have to step outside your comfort zone. You have to step out of what makes you the star until they offer you the pedestal of their shoulders on which you stand. And finally, empathy. How many of you have ever had a shoes which squeeze you a little bit? How many? Maybe some of the ladies. So you wear the shoes and it's nice, but it's squeezed. And you put it down for 2 months. And during the period that you put it down, you forget about the squeeze. And then you put it back on. And it squeezes you again. Remember, until and unless you have the ability to put yourself in the shoe of another man, you cannot truly help him. The fact of the matter is, there are persons out there waiting on your visionary leadership. They need it so much, to the extent that when you put your foot in their shoe, you realize how shoeless they are. Can you walk without shoe? Can you walk a mile in their situation? Are you open to the struggle? Are you open to the pain? Are you open to give up that which makes you comfortable every single moment of your life so that you can rescue the opportunities of someone else? Are you ready, fellow Toastmasters and guests, to be a visionary leader? If you are, I propose to you that your language of leadership is going to be humility, selflessness, compassion, and most importantly, empathy. And when you do that, when you find that place, you will unleash not just possibilities, but you will unleash indescribable greatness of not only self, but of those around you. And you will feel the pleasure of shouting, like we always do, Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Ubuntu.